Other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks. You will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
Incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over where we have to do it again. We can do it again too. Nobody can stop us.
Concept. $1 billion concept.
So now to throw a fork in maybe an idea that you have regarding the video title and the topic, you know, the question you may have in your head right now is, if you were to have $1 billion concept, why would you share it? That is the shallow level of thinking when it comes to business ideas, in my opinion. When you're trying to start a business, any business, especially one at this scale, 99% of the time, you're not qualified to start the business in general, right? So whether that be from the funding aspect, whether that be from the marketing aspect, whether that be from the expertise aspect of the product that you're trying to sell, you're lacking in some department. So the time it takes to fund an idea, to gather the team and build those things, it's not worth it. So in my head, I'm really thinking about how I can reap the most benefit from this idea in the shortest amount of time, because this concept in general is not the only idea that I have. So when it comes to this series of videos, first, the main thing I can gain from this is being recognized as a person with a lot of ideas, right? If you can be recognized as a person with a lot of creative ideas and a lot of creative breakdown, then people will reach out to you because they now see you as a mental power unit. So whether that be from collabs or with other YouTubers, or if you go to the business world and be like, yo, this dude has 10 videos about 10 great business ideas. 3 people from the internet took his business ideas, created businesses. So then how do we get this guy to stop posting about ideas and just tell us about his idea specifically, and then yada, 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 yada. So I mean, that at the highest scale is what I can gain from these videos. And at the lower scale, it's just being creative in general. So someone may look at your channel and be like, yo, this dude is creative and artistic in general, because not only am I talking about concepts that are art in a sense, right? They form these webs and they kind of change the universe that you see, but I'm also editing it and articulating it in a video format that isn't so common on the internet. Now, when you're looking at the headphone market in general, there isn't much innovation in the market. Even when you go to something like the product of Sony, you go to the Sony XM4s to the Sony XM5s. 2 quote-unquote different headphones, but they really look the same. The headband is just slightly a different shape. Maybe the material is a little different. The audio quality is, to the average consumer, not that much of a difference in terms of what they hear. So how do I, as someone who, okay, if I have $1 billion concept, or if I want to make $1 billion in this industry, and I'm looking at my competitors and I'm looking at what's selling in the space, you can automatically tell by the products that are selling right now online that they all look the same and they all quote unquote sound the same for a certain amount of price ranges, right? So if audio quality can be differentiated and praised on certain Reddit forums or on certain sites as, this is a quality premium headphone and this is not, but in terms of looks that quality can be differentiated, then if I'm trying to target this market, then the first thing I would do is target looks. All right, so let's go into the message statement. The 2 things that this brand would be if someone were to take this idea: futuristic and luxury. Luxury, so when we're looking at band materials of the regular headphones we see now, they're all the same. Maybe some have mesh, maybe some are plastic, maybe some have metal accents. And if we're going to the psychology of the consumer and wanting to be better than somebody else, why not have some sort of jewelry aspect to something that you put on your head? People would put on a hat because it blends in with a fit, right? Why not make a headphone that blends in with a designer fit? Or even if I were to wear a producer level quality headphone that's $2,000 or $3,000, it still doesn't blend in with the rest of my outfit. So how do I make someone at the highest levels comfortable with wearing a headphone that's not gonna bring down the level of their outfit? And I would do that by starting a luxury brand. And those band materials, whether it be the accent, whether it be the whole band, whether it be the muffs or something in that sense, you would make those pieces some sort of precious metal. So those metals at the lower points can be, silver, which is something that's already done, but I would say gold. And then you can move up and you can go into rubies, sapphires, and then at the highest level would be diamonds. before we go into futuristic, let's go into marketing. So the marketing for this brand would have to be discreet. You're not gonna come out and drop 100 prototypes of this headphone and give them to everybody because it's going to devalue the hype around it. So you only want to make a couple, like 3 to 5 prototypes. And with those 3 to 5 prototypes, the easiest thing would be to just give it to someone who's, has a large following, whether that be an athlete, whether that be an influencer on TikTok even, or on YouTube or on Twitch, because those are the kind of rising celebrities of today in terms of the modern world. You would just give it to those people. And that is probably the easiest part of this process. The hardest part of this process would probably be making the product. But once you make the product, then all is gold. Like there's no reason why this business plan should fail if you do this marketing aspect properly. The moment you try to market it without someone else's platform is the moment you fail. If you try to make your own ads and your own company and your own little secret commercials and your own website, it's done. It's over, because that's how things aren't seen properly. And that's how things aren't confirmed and validated. The moment that they see a celebrity wear something on their face or on their whatever, it's already validated because this person has a following, and because they have a following, and because they have some sort of higher status in life. Psychologically, the average consumer is going to think, oh, they have some sort of knowledge that I don't have, and because they have that sort of knowledge that I don't have, they're going to make decisions that I can't make. And because they made a decision to wear this on their head, this headphone brand that you're going to have, then that headphone brand must have some sort of value in some sort of sense. Whenever you're making something, whether it be a YouTube video, whether it be a business idea, whether it be a product, you always want to overshoot. The moment you overshoot is the moment you land a couple levels below. Because every video that someone drops on a YouTube channel as an editor who's worked for other people, everybody thinks they have a 1 million view video, and they end up always undershooting in the video, maybe hit 500K, a couple 100,000, or even less than that. And the only way it got to 100,000 views is because they were shooting for 1 million. So we're not shooting for just like, luxury brand headphones, because even though it might be cool to see Ruby on someone's, head and have that into a headphone, it's not enough. Like, you always want to just like break. You want to shatter the market. You want to break it to where people can't replicate it. So we're going back to the message statement of this brand. We're going back to the futuristic side of this. We have the over band, and then we have inside the band. Music. Okay, yeah, when it comes to the hologram, so not only can it be a customizable emblem to the person, you can create settings. So one setting would be a customizable one, which was, if it's within the band or over the band, whatever the hologram is, you just make the prompt, and I want the hologram to be a Pokemon. The hologram is going to be a Pokemon. It could be moving, whatever the prompt says. It could be a Charizard breathing fire. That's a customizable setting. Customizable is going to be one setting. Setting number 2 is going to be audio responsive. Number 3 is another, I guess you could say, tangent of expressing the music that you listen to, which would be like just lyrics. So imagine the same way someone has a lyric video when they make a song and they post it on YouTube. Imagine having a lyric video on your head. Hold concept for V2, V3. So the custom holograms I'm talking about, the setting 1, the setting 2, the setting 3, and then combining that with the AI app connected to the headphones, and then having AI prompts support the creation of those holograms. I don't think that should happen until version 2 or version 3. Funding is a big thing because this is not going to be cheap. But I think it's a like if you know the right people, I wouldn't think that funding would be a problem though. Like this is the same way Lamborghini drops the SVJ, then they drop the Centenario, then they drop the Veneno, and it's the same kind of SVJ ridden chassis but with a different body kit, and people still buy it because it's just that exclusive. You should have no problems with funding if you present it to the right person and say, yo, this is what I'm trying to do in this industry, and this is how I'm trying to change it. You present the vision like how I'm presenting it to YouTube right now, no reason why you shouldn't be able to find funding. The problem with holograms is, it's going to be being able to make them small enough to display a high quality image. So you could also, the same way I said, hold back certain settings with your prototypes in V1 and V2 and V3. You could also kind of diminish the quality on the prototypes and then bring it up on V1. But the holograms are going to be hard. This goes back to funding. How are you going to create the holograms? What companies already created holograms are going to be at the level that you want them to be at? All of that, that's going to be a little hassle. So that has to have, the holograms are going to have to take some time and research. Definitely some time and research. And then number 3 is a partner. So that would only work if you want to be like me. If you want to be like someone who's branded as having ideas, then you can go to another company and partner with them and say, I have this product, I want to make it, will you help me make it? And you end up making it with them, then cool. Because you're not going to get the full financial benefit if you do it that way. But you are going to get some notoriety in the game. So if you're looking for notoriety and a little bit of money, go to the partner route. But if you're looking at strictly money and wanting to get the most amount of money, you're going to have to do it yourself.